Hey, 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 here we are. Spring has sprung and I'm feeling fun and there's no sun, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome. We're talking about fertility and midlife and growth and the spring. So spring equinox, if you didn't already know, was last Sunday. We also had a big, beautiful full moon just before that, Virgo moon. And I was at a hot springs and I was lucky enough to be there for the first rituals, live rituals, bringing in, welcoming in, honoring a moment in time live for the first time in many years due to fires and, the world craziness. And it was beautiful. And I really thought of you a lot. I thought, oh, I should just do a live now, but there was no signal. So I'm doing it now. And I'm doing it now because spring is a time when there's this renewed energy. There's this opportunity for recognizing miracles can happen because that movement from winter into spring is profound. So if you're new here, then I'm Coach Ariel Anderson. I'm a midlife mom, and I've been coaching people with conscious business and health for decades. And it's been evolving because I'm all about you accessing your joy and your health. And if that path includes fertility and having a baby, then yay, let's do that. I often find that it also weaves in, there's a piece around what you're meant to be creating, your path and your joy. That has to be in place and in motion, not perfect, because who's perfect? But in motion with a good foundation so that, when that next phase or doing it again time happens, that you are ready and your body feels in good synchronicity with you, feels listened to, and feels connected to you. And so I think about this now because yeah, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it if you're new. And definitely subscribe because we come here every Friday morning. Next week will be at 9:30 because it's the first of the month. So I'm just mentioning that so we come again. But spring, when I lived in Czech Republic, it's a bit like, back east or the colder zones, that coming of spring was incredibly profound. And I felt it was very important to talk about because I know that there are a combination of stories happening out there. I know that you either have been trying and it hasn't been working, or it did work, but you lost the child. You maybe never have been pregnant or you've been pregnant. I mean, there's so many different versions of your story that you may be connecting in with right now. And yet there's this thing that happens in spring, and it depends. If you live in a warm country, then maybe you don't see it as profoundly. California, it's also not as dramatic because we have rain instead of snow. But my father and I were talking the other day. You're going to get a chance to meet him when we do a workshop. And we were talking about health and just that feeling of energy change when more light comes. Why is it so dark here? I'm going to move you a little bit. Why is it so dark? That's okay. We can be a little bit dark. That's all right. But when there's the snow covering on the ground, I remember in Prague, we were talking about this, he said, the crocus aren't quite out yet. It's still winter back east. Here the spring has sprung. It's just the wisteria and the daffodils and all of that and the smells in the air. But my dad, he said, I'm just waiting for those crocus. And I remember that feeling in Prague, that everything was blanketed in ice and snow. And then you'd see it, and it felt like it was going to be gray and colorless forever. Sometimes, and gray forever. And I know that is a part of this journey. There are moments where you feel hopeless and you feel helpless and powerless. And it's just like, is this going to change? Is it going to shift? And maybe you have a moment of a breakthrough where you're thinking like, yeah, I got this. And then you dip down again. We talk about that dip, that ebb in the waters. I'm all about the ocean. So it's, that ebb and the flow and that ebb and the flow. And you're waiting for that flow, which comes with spring. And so we were talking about this and I said, oh gosh, I remember. I think I remember yellow and white and purple. And I remember yellowing right. I don't know if yellow is right, but I remember white and purple. And these flowers would just, it was like magic. They would come through this cold, daunting, not welcoming place, just come through anyway. I remember that in Switzerland when I lived there. I remember thinking that it would, the mountains were cold, you'd never see it, but there would be this opening. And I think I wanted to talk about that and today because I think when you're in these moments of the dip, of the ebb, of the wave, that lower part of the wave, which inevitably is going to happen. It may be changing throughout the week, throughout the month or the year. I find it's almost a weekly or like every couple weeks, maybe it's with the cycle. Now that my cycle is changing, that's changing. Having a cycle can be, you have more of a feeling for it. If your cycle is now irregular for any reason, then you have to listen on a more intuitive level, like where your energy is up and down, but just recognizing this miracle of you, this miracle of birth. And it sounds a little like, woo, miracle. But the truth is that from winter to spring feels like a miracle to me. And these moments when you are not getting past the stuck place, or you have something pop up, it can be that you're over busy. Hello, that happens all the time, right? You're over busy. Your life is too filled end to end. Maybe it's that you're doing so many wonderful things for your body, but in fact, that's an overload as well. Maybe it's about, I don't know what your story is today, but it's just expanding into knowing that it's okay to be in a low spot sometimes. And it's just to remember that even in the bleakest moments, the moments where it feels like it's going to be gray forever, which believe me, I think we had 21 days without sun once in Prague. And it can feel that way. It can be even longer. It can be years. I know that. I remember that. I remember that feeling of heaviness in my heart, of feeling like, is it going to happen to me? And I know that there are those moments where you're thinking, is it going to happen to you? What really has to happen? Give me the quick fix. Give me that thing that's going to do it, right? But ultimately, it's a deeper journey. And I know you know that if you're here. And yours is peeking out. It's like the crocus is starting to open. Maybe yours is more open. Oh, I just missed that. I want to see that. Can I get back to the messages? Yeah. Dr. Cavi, so nice to see you, Ariel. Happy spring. I woke up with a lot of pain and soreness due to, it disappeared again, due to stimulation meds. Hoping it passes this phase soon. I'm definitely in my ebb. Oh, that's so hard. I mean, when you're I know you're doing implantation, right? So you've got those meds, everything around that process is painful. It's not just painful on a physical level, but it's so, everything's so amplified and magnified. You have in pregnancy anyway, some of this, sacral, lower back stuff, your pelvis is moving, but then you have on top of it, you have this, you're having to go through things in a very, very strong way. So I encourage you, if there's any way, I know you mentioned, I started to read your mail and I didn't have a chance because I had the morning routine with my daughter, but I can't wait to read the rest of that. I know I also would love to just be here with you guys, with you in a room and be able to really work through some of this stuff because I would love for you to have acupuncture, massage, something so that you could get what you need ultimately. And I just hope that you know that spring is coming and just to breathe through it, drink a lot of water, get as much sleep as possible, and whatever you're allowed to do and you feel comfortable to do. If you could get a pregnancy massage, I really do recommend that. I want somebody to be familiar with the fact that sometimes the body is sort of looser, if you want to say, like if you've got things stimulating your body, right? Then you definitely, sorry, my husband's popping in there. You want to make sure that you have somebody who knows what they're doing, that they don't hurt you. I used to do massage and Reiki and so many things between my corporate and my training and my coaching. I like to have a lot of things in the mix, and I do know how important that is. But if you can even do some self massage or have your partner, which is actually a very powerful thing, even just, even if they were just to brush you, or do a little like gentle squeezing where it feels okay, depending on where the soreness is and what you're comfortable with, I highly recommend just allowing yourself that. So I wish I could help in another way. I know that there's some popping in and out happening here, and that's okay. If you're here on the replay or you're here right now, definitely hit a like if this has been interesting for you. Just that reminder of what's possible, that you can be that miracle of the crocus that opens and receives and keeps that fertility growing and going, and that you yourself can be the one who says, yeah, look what's possible. And then we'll have you come and chat about it. And we have some things coming up. I'm really excited for April, actually. Check out the podcast because, in fact, that reminds me I've got to do some work. It's not this week, but next week is your week, the first Wednesday of every month, Wednesday, Thursday. So check that out. And I will just say, oh, you're still there. Oh, that's so weird. It says there's no one there. Thank you so much. Would love a couple minutes pain meditation with you if possible. Oh my gosh, I would love to do that for you. I wonder how I could do that somehow. Well, we could just take a quick moment here, and I can't do the. We'll figure that out just one-on-one to really individualize it more. But I would just say, just start with breathing. Take a deep breath in. If you have pain or pain in your heart too. And exhaling, feeling your feet on the ground, and remembering that this pain isn't yours, it's temporary. You don't have to own it. You don't have to keep it. It will go. Things come and go. Change is the thing we can depend on the most. And that what's going to come on the other side of this is your crocus, your miracle, and trust in that. Chat with your body for a moment, asking it what it needs so that it can release that pain. And we could talk more about the possibility of really sitting down together. Maybe we can do something. Dr. Kathy, MD. Or coffee. I don't actually know I should ask you how to say that. Well, we are wrapping up. It's 13 minutes. If you have any other questions or that you want answered just about, how to shift mindset around this, it's such an overused word, but how to shift something inside of you, definitely key into whatever light shows up in your life. Just taking a little moment to honor what brings you some joy, even in the smallest moments. Reminding you of what's possible. What's possible. You are a miracle. You being here. You listening within. And that's what I have to say today. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'm happy to answer those. I do get to them. Sometimes it's 48 hours. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's more if I'm away for some reason. Otherwise, have a beautifully imperfect day. I wish you an incredible journey of breaking through that snow and ice and gray day to bloom and receive exactly in the way that you need. I will see you next Friday. I'm working on some videos, so hopefully one of them feels right. I kind of tossed out a couple that just didn't feel right anymore. So you didn't get a video last month. I'm sorry, but it will come. All right. I'm Ariel Anderson, shedding some light on the path through midlife vitality, health, fertility, pregnancy, and your path that you're meant to be on for your joyful and beautiful life. And I'll see you soon.